It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
And here we go, Monday, February 27, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com. Let's see if I remember how to do this. You are not Braylon Edwards.
Nope.
Who are you again?
I am Flannel Sam.
Flannel Sam. Okay, good. I forgot who. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, you looked at me like I was crazy.
No, I didn't.
No. Oh, good.
No, I think I was just staring into space.
Sam, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. It's great to be back with you guys again. All you Ermanni and Edwards and Maz fans who thought you were done with me for a while, well, that's just too bad.
Dude, I think the people love you.
Hey, I hope so.
I hear all these great comments about Sam Flannel, Flannel Sam, this, that, and the other thing. I thought I was out of a job for a minute.
Oh, not quite yet.
Oh, man, not yet is the key word. Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you.
Hey, buddy. Aloha. Welcome home.
One of my favorite things when I see weather like this is, Maz, when you were walking to the car.
Yeah. Weather kind of like this.
In weather kind of like this, absolutely. I gotta send you this. I wish I would have done it before. And now, can we play it? It does have some curse words on it.
Even it's the thing that you sent out on my birthday?
Yeah, I sent it out on your birthday. It does have some curse words.
I'm sure Fletch can play it, maybe. Yeah. Or he'll curse us.
We've got Fletch, we've got JB in the house. JB, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. Glad to see you back. Hopefully you had a good vacation.
Well, I'll tell you this much. And Fletch, how you doing over there?
All right, how are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. I'll tell you this much about the vacation thing. So I was in Florida last week, and it is so fun. Maz, you talk about this a lot. When you are just away or detached, or, I didn't watch the news, I wasn't really on social media, I'm present with my family.
You're in a bubble. I'm
in a bubble. It is truly amazing, Sam, how well your mood is.
Yeah.
You totally detach. You don't care about the news. You don't care about what your neighbor's doing. And let me tell you, there are a lot of people that were really upset last week. They did not have power. People still wake up this morning without power.
That sucks.
It is incredible. And here I am living in my own little bubble. Yeah. What a week to get out of town. Did you lose power?
I did not lose power. I lost internet for a couple of days. But all things considered, I got out pretty easy. Maz, on the other hand, I know you lost power for a little bit.
I know. I came home last Wednesday.
Yeah, we were in Florida, like just opposite time.
Came right to work, worked the day, went home, got an hour in, and poof. That's when it went out. But I lucky enough the next night, Thursday night, it came back on. And there's still people that I know personally that are still out of power. I can't live that way. I talked to the DTE guys. They were in my backyard when I went home.
Listen,
they're working their
let me say this about the DTE guys who are these linemen out here are working their tails off 24/7
in this crap weather.
In this crappy weather. But if you don't have power, you don't care.
No.
Let's just face it. You don't care how hard they're working. If you don't have power for 5 days, 6 days, whatever the case may be, you couldn't care less.
Well, I went
how
out
hard
there.
They're working.
I went out there on Thursday afternoon because it was still out. They were in my yard when I got home from work, and I went up to them like, guys, honestly, what's the story? When do you think it'll be back on? I'm like, I can't live this way. I'm weak. I can't. I need power. I'm not a pilgrim. I just can't. I'm not a camper. I don't even want to light a candle.
What do you mean you're not a pilgrim?
I'm not a pilgrim.
What's wrong with the pilgrim?
They didn't have power. I can't live this way.
What did you do without television, Maz? I want to know what you did without television.
When did I not have television?
Well, when the power went out.
I went to bed. And the next day I woke up and it was like 58 degrees in my house.
Oh, my God.
I took a shower and I didn't know. This is how dumb I am. I'm like, wow, I hope the water is still hot when I take a shower.
No. Well, what's in your hot water tank should be good.
So I knew I had a few minutes. No girls were home. My girls, they would have sucked up all the hot water. So I got my quick
Kinda
shower.
like you in the hot air.
Of course.
Right.
So I took the shower and I got the hell out of the house. And lucky enough, the next day it was popped on again.
Did either of you, Fletch, JB, lose power?
Nope. Mine flickered in and off here and there, but we still have power to this.
I don't want to hear
so.
flickering.
Man, it is so crazy.
Sorry, man.
You have a, what do you call it now?
I do have a generator now, and it did click on for 24 hours. We were gone. It did flip on for 24 hours, and then it came up. Last summer, just a few months ago, we lost power, and we lost it for 4 days. And I said, never again. And the last thing you want to do is buy a generator. It is, of all the costs that you have.
What do they cost?
Well, each house is different for, depending upon the square footage of your house. I got a whole house generator.
Okay, that's different. They go to Lowe's or Home Depot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I could go to.
And you could put on, you could get the generator to hook up to the garage, the refrigerator, run the kitchen, maybe one or two rooms in your house. Now, I don't know how to do that stuff.
Neither do I.
I don't know how
That's
to
why
hook
I'm
that
asking you the
stuff
dumb
up.
question.
I don't know how to hook that stuff up. So we just got a couple of quotes from generator places, and I'll tell you, because this power situation, we bought a freezer. The week before we lost power, we bought a freezer. Loaded it up.
No. Fairway Market.
Loaded it up. And I'm telling you guys, I had about $1,000 worth of groceries and food in the freezer. And now you can go to the grocery store and spend $300-$400. It's not. You just get 3 cartons of eggs and you're spending $300. But throw some steaks or some hamburger meat or some whatever in there, and I lost $1,000 worth of food over that 4 days. And I'm like, there's $1,000 right there. So I didn't want to do it, but I got a whole house generator. It sucks.
That's the depressing part out of it, losing all of that food that you had just bought just because you had no power.
Yeah.
I have a wife but no kids, a couple of pets. If I was in one of those dire situations, it's easy for me to just say, hey, we can stay at the in-laws who never seem to lose power, or hey, we can stay at a hotel for a few days. We'll take the financial hit just to have power. But you forget about losing the food that you bought with your hard-earned money during times where grocery shopping is more expensive than ever.
And let me tell you, with all these electric cars, too, if you have no power, you can't even drive to Grandma or Grandpa's house because your car can't get powered. What are we doing?
I'll pay the $5 a gallon. I don't give a damn. I'm not.
What are we doing?
Just give me the gas card, please.
Oh my God! I'll tell you, it's crazy out there. I have a buddy called me this morning, 8 a.m. He's got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and the 1-year-old is wailing in the background, just wailing. They have no power, no power. I'm like, went out on Wednesday. I'm like, what do you do if you're like that guy? What
did he do? Did he go to his in-laws and stuff?
Yeah, he's going back and forth.
Yeah,
but when you have a kid,
it's terrible.
When you have kids, it's terrible, man. But again,
welcome home.
It is, man. Do you have that video? Okay, this weather out here. Can you take a wide shot if you could? Just if you get a sense of what the weather like. The weather sucks today.
It's hailing.
Just getting back to Florida at 85, 90, and sunny. Weather sucks today. Look at this out here. So this reminds me of Tom Mazawey.
Fucking hate Michigan. I do. I hate fucking Michigan. Fuck you, Michigan.
That was
iconic.
No, that was last year, okay? And I apologize for the profanity in there. I apologize for that. I really do. But I thought it was so appropriate because it just kind of speaks to the frustration of weather like this, man.
It's true hatred. I have true hatred for this weather and this state most days.
Do you ever like? So I was in Florida for the last week. And it just, look, I'm born here. I grew up here. All my friends are here. All my family's here. But do you ever just say, man, couldn't my family, be from Florida?
Every day I say it.
Couldn't they just be from Florida or Georgia or Texas?
Yeah, but they have tornadoes, hurricanes. You go to California, you got earthquakes.
That's true.
We got it pretty good here,
other
considering.
stuff, man.
Considering we got it pretty darn good here, although I still hate it.
Right. I mean,
I'll tell you what, Ryan. I'll go one step even further. My wife's grandparents are Cuban immigrants, and they decided to settle in the Metro Detroit area instead of in Miami or down in Florida. I think because they didn't want something that was too similar to Cuba. I mean, one of the things that wouldn't have happened is me and my wife probably would have never have met. But at the same time, she would have probably grew up in sunshine, maybe had a few hurricanes, but never have had to experience this. So you take the good with the bad.
it just hurts so much sometimes. It hurts so bad.
Jacob
sometimes.
Strand on the chat says he was going to go to WWE tonight in Grand Rapids, but this weather is giving him second thoughts. Yeah, in
you
Grand
can't
Rapids.
drive to Grand Rapids in this.
You wouldn't go for the WWE?
No. They'll just go.
What if you and Lukey were supposed to go?
Go to SummerSlam. You know,
Well, it's not summer yet.
If I was taking my kid, I especially wouldn't go.
No?
And I wouldn't be worried about me. I'm worried about all the other nutbags out there and all the other nut jobs
Well,
out there.
hopefully people are going home early today and then they won't be too bad.
Oh, my gosh. All these nuts on the road. Let me tell you, it is insane out there.
I think we spring ahead next weekend, don't we? Or the weekend after?
It's in March, no?
Something like that.
Yeah, well, next.
Oh, my God.
In 2 days, it's March. Wednesday is March 1st.
is Wednesday.
Yeah, the Ides of March.
Oh, my gosh. Unbelievable. All right, guys, I got to regroup here. I didn't realize March 1st is Wednesday.
Welcome back, buddy.
Right, it is really something, I'll tell you. Lots of sports talk today, guys. Lots of Lions talk. Jalen Ramsey trade news. What's going on? The NFL Combine starts today, and a lot of defensive players go the first 2 days. So defensive line, linebackers day 1. Then you've got the DBs and safeties day 2. So you want to watch the Lions' potential draft picks. These first 2 days are important for you. If you're one of those defense guys, I am not one of those guys. Dave Birkett has the Lions drafting somebody who I've been on for a very long time, so we'll get to that. Lots to get to today, but first a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. Just a couple of days left in the month, gang. If you want a 2022 Silverado, how about this? You will pay $289 a month. $289 a month. You can head on out there today or tomorrow and drive off the lot today, tomorrow. Get it before the end of the month of February. That's when the deals are right now. $289 a month for a 2022 Silverado located on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn. Les Stanford has also expanded into Ferndale if you'd like a Buick or GMC brand. The same trusted name for over 50 years, Les Stanford, located on Woodward just south of 9 Mile. All the brands under one umbrella: Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC, LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
At Alta.
Uptime, it matters.
I've been missing that all week, all right? And at Alta,
man, I got
uptime
you.
matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a try today and call them at 844-GO to Alta. 844-GO, the number 2, Alta.
Hey, one of the things that the Lions did well last year, according to everybody, Sam Flannel, is draft well. And according to the latest evaluations, the Lions have had the second best rookie class in 2022. Now, there is a long way to go, but early returns, Sam, are that the Lions got some good ones. And Aiden Hutchinson, Jamison Williams, Josh Paschal, Kirby Joseph, James Mitchell, Malcolm Rodriguez, James Houston, and Chase Lucas. Lucas, he ain't done yet. He intrigues me a little bit.
No, he's definitely not done.
Yeah, but again, there you have it. The New York Jets have the number one draft class, and why not? They had the Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, and the Defensive Rookie of the Year, Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, when you look at those draft classes and comparing them, you look at the Jets, obviously have the Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year in Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner, plus Breece Hall, who, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, definitely would have been in the running for the Offensive Rookie of the Year. But with the Lions, you've got more players that contribute. You've got the first and second leaders in rookies in sacks with Aiden Hutchinson and James Houston. You've got an all-rookie team linebacker in Malcolm Rodriguez. You've got a safety in Kirby Joseph who forced 6 turnovers, including 4 interceptions, 3 of them against Aaron Rodgers. So to me, I'm not so sure that the Jets rookie class is better than the Lions. I mean, I think at least for this discussion, you have to penalize Breece Hall for getting hurt. I mean, we penalized Jamison Williams for being hurt. This class for the Lions was so good, and Jamison Williams didn't really contribute. And then you even look at a Josh Paschal, who he had a 2-sack game, but he was hurt and missed basically all of the offseason. So if you ask me, the Lions, they might have to get moved up to number one over the Jets, even though the Jets obviously have the Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year, which in itself is absurd.
This thing still writes itself, Maz. I mean, look, there's a long way to go. We don't know what Jamison Williams is going to be. We don't know what Josh Paschal is going to be. But I think you can project those two players, if healthy, that is a big if healthy, to be really key players on what you hope is a championship team.
Heck yeah, man. So far, he's 2 for 2 on drafts. This last draft, I think we've talked about it, Ryan. You brought it up. It's the best draft since the early 90s or late 80s.
88.
Yeah, 88.
The draft before Barry Sanders.
I mean, that it speaks for itself. We can't sit here as Lion fans. Oh, what do? We all complain. Why can't we ever get it right? Why can't we get a second-round draft pick right? Well, we'll find out how that second-round draft pick turns out. But the rest of them sure look like they hit the target. And coming in number 3, Ryan, we talked about this team, is the Seattle Seahawks. And the Seattle Seahawks, they had 5 starters from that rookie class. So they did a pretty good job. For the Lions to be rated ahead of them, Flannel, I'll go to you. That's pretty good.
I mean, the Seahawks got their 2 starting tackles. They've got Tariq Woolen, who was probably the second best rookie corner after Sauce Gardner. You have Kenneth Walker, who was the best rookie running back. And you've got Boye Mafe, who started some games. But I'm even looking at the team right behind them. The Kansas City Chiefs.
I saw that too.
When we talk about the Chiefs, obviously they have Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, guys like Chris Jones. That's obviously the nucleus of why they won the Super Bowl.
Their secondary is rookies.
And that's the thing. Their rookies came in and contributed immediately. You've got Trent McDuffie, starter. George Karlaftis, third in amongst all rookies in sacks. You have Sky Moore, who didn't do a whole lot, but he had a touchdown in the Super Bowl. Leo Chenal was the Chiefs' starting linebacker in the Super Bowl. You've got Joshua Williams, who had an interception in the playoffs. Jalen Watson, who had 2 interceptions in the playoffs and a pick 6 against Los Angeles.
A lot of young players there to stay. Look, they've got all these young players because you're paying Mahomes $50 million a year. You need these players.
And you know who else? And I haven't even mentioned maybe the most valuable of them all. How about Isaiah Pacheco? Their 7th round running back is probably the best running back that Patrick Mahomes has ever had behind him. That man just runs so hard, and they don't go as far as they do without the contributions of Isaiah Pacheco. So the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that probably didn't need it as much as some of those other teams, one of the reasons why they won another Super Bowl is because of how good their rookie class performed. I mean, you could argue they were number one, although they obviously don't have the high-end hits as like an Aiden Hutchinson or a Garrett Wilson or a Sauce Gardner or even like a James Houston. But the Chiefs knocked it out of the park.
So that transitions us to this. So a couple of days ago, Dave Birkett put out his Lions mock draft. And one of the things, or his NFL mock draft, I should say, and one of the things he's got, I'll just give it away to you, is he's got the Lions selecting Bijan Robinson at number 18. And let me read for you what he writes about that.
This is what his story is all about.
Oh, man, I can see the angry emails already. A running back in round 1. Well, Robinson is a top 10 talent in this draft, and if the Lions are serious about continuing to give Jared Goff all the weapons he needs to succeed, Robinson could be their Todd Gurley. Now, I have been saying this for at least several weeks. Bijan Robinson, I think, and I've said this phrase before, take what you do really well.
Yep.
Take what you do better than anything and make it better. And if Bijan Robinson is available at 18, I think the Lions have to run to the podium because you cannot count, number one, on DeAndre Swift staying healthy for 14 games, let alone 17
We all know
games.
that already.
And I really don't think you can count. I think you got to bring Jamal Williams back. I think you do, especially at $4 million a year. But I don't think you can count on Jamal Williams scoring 17 touchdowns either.
No.
This year. I just don't think that is a repeat performance. I think you ultimately have to continue to evolve this thing and make it better, and maybe even put some pressure on Swift. You ain't paying Swift.
Oh, I mean, no. If the Lions obviously get Bijan Robinson, I think they're about done with DeAndre Swift. And for the record, I don't blame them. The Bijan Robinson conversation is tough because I'm not as high on it as you, but I would not be pounding the tables either because Bijan Robinson, let's just call a spade, is the best running back prospect since Saquon Barkley. The man does everything well. His ceiling is to go straight into the NFL and be one of the best running backs in the NFL. And if you pick him at 18, that's what you're asking him to do. The question is behind that offensive line, even a guy like Jamal Williams can get you 1,000 yards. And no disrespect to Jamal Williams, but he was always an RB2 throughout his career. And this running back class is incredibly deep. I mean, you look at some of the guys that you can get later on in the rounds. And even when you look at last season, Kenneth Walker had 1,000 yards, second-round pick. Tyler Algier had 1,000 yards, fifth-round pick. Dameon Pierce was on pace to do it, fourth-round pick. And then even Breece Hall was a second-round pick. So the question is, if Bijan Robinson is your missing piece to maybe contend for the Super Bowl, which he might be. If he hits his ceiling, I think he can be. But is the value there at 18? If you don't solidify your defense with another starter, do you want to go after Bijan Robinson? I'm not ready to pound the table and say yes or no. I'm just saying you have to ask those questions.
I think the Seattle Seahawks are a perfect example. The Seattle Seahawks without Kenneth Walker are not a playoff team.
Absolutely
Period.
not.
End of story. Regardless, do you think the Seattle Seahawks fans would be like, knowing what you know now about his importance to the team, if Seattle took him in the first round, do you think they would be, no, we should have never taken him in the first round. Sucks. Terrible pick. He's the reason you're in the playoffs.
Yes, but
guy.
Kenneth Walker was a second-round pick.
Or a big reason.
He was a second-round pick, which isn't entirely dissimilar, but it does matter. And they were able to get a Charles Cross with their first-round pick already, solidify that need, and get a Boye Mafe with their other second-round pick before Kenneth Walker. So to me, it's not exactly the same, but you also have visions of a Bijan Robinson running behind this offensive line. Like I said, I love Bijan Robinson as a prospect. He was the best running back in college football by far, Doak Walker Award winner, and he proved that he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He averaged over 16.5 yards per catch last season at Texas, which tells me that he can be used in a variety of ways and just can not just be a running back, but an offensive weapon. I could be talked into it. I just know that the Lions do have some defensive needs and even some offensive needs that are probably a little bit more pressing, but I don't hate it. And the fact that someone like Dave Birkett is pushing it, he's a reputable source. So,
and I'm not.
Hey,
is that what you're saying?
That is not what I'm saying.
And I'm not.
No, he covers the team.
He covers the team. Okay, just making
Take
sure.
it easy.
Yeah. Okay, just making sure.
What's the size of Bijan Robinson? Who's he compared to?
He's about 6'2", 220.
What's his comparison?
Let me pull it up right
what's
here.
What's a running back that I can look at and say, yeah, he could be that guy except better?
Saquon Barkley.
I was about to say Saquon or Dalvin Cook. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You sold me.
Yeah, 6'2", 220. Now, I will say this.
I want to bring something up to you.
The second-round running backs. Now, Breece Hall was taken just outside the first round. at 36, and then Kenneth Walker a couple of picks later at 41. So it's not like these guys were like late second-round picks heading into the third round. I mean, that's a premier pick, though, that Breece Hall and Kenneth Walker both went.
Yeah, and I don't hate the idea. And the fact that the Lions have so many picks in the first couple of rounds, maybe use one on Bijan Robinson. Maybe he does become one of the best running backs in the NFL the second he steps onto the field. Maybe he is a better Saquon Barkley or Dalvin Cook. And if he is, and the Lions decide to choose him, that could end up taking their offense to maybe a top 3 offense. And they could also get some defensive guys in their other pick in the first round, maybe in the second round, maybe in free agency. There's a lot that can be done with this team.
I already told you guys, if I can't get the top 2 defensive guys that are on the board, I don't care about taking these other guys. I call them secondary guys, Miles Murphy, the likes thereof. Who are they getting in the first round, right? Does Dave have him getting a defensive guy?
He's got him getting Tyree Wilson, defensive end from Texas Tech.
He's moving up the charts.
Now, there's a story about him.
Yeah, which we can do.
Daniel Jeremiah of the NFL Network says that there is some scuttlebutt that Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech will go above Will Anderson, and this Tyree Wilson character will be the first edge rusher taken.
Isn't that something that your dream could come true, Ryan? Last year, your dream was, I wish we could also get Will Anderson Jr. I remember you saying it on the show. And he could be there, a long shot, but he could be there. But if I don't get one of those guys, who are you going to take with your first pick, Ryan?
Anthony Richardson.
So am I.
I'm telling you guys.
Now we're really putting ourselves out there because now we're saying not only don't take a defensive guy, but we're taking a quarterback and a running back now.
I said that a month ago.
I'm with you.
I did say that a month ago.
I joined you.
If you give me Anthony Richardson at 6, because I'll tell you this much. Anthony Richardson, I don't know who's going to be the 4th quarterback taken, but it's not going to be Anthony Richardson. I think he's going to be the 3rd quarterback taken. And Will Levis or C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young will go after that. I don't know who's going to be that 4th quarterback, but Anthony Richardson is going to skyrocket.
I've just been watching more and more highlights from him, and I realize they're highlights. I'm not a dummy. But he just looks like a professional quarterback, an NFL-ready professional quarterback. Not a guy from Liberty. I like you, Malik Willis. I don't like you as much as I like this guy. And I'm not giving up on Malik Willis yet. But Anthony Richardson is way above where Malik Willis was a project. This guy looks like he is.
Look, all these people in the chat.
Of course, they're going to kill. I don't have to look at it.
I don't even look at it.
It's okay.
I already know. Oh, Anthony Richardson is Malik Willis.
I know.
Feel free. I don't even care.
He can't hit the broadside of a barn. And Sam's got numbers on him. Sam will give you numbers.
Yeah.
You know, he's a 50% passer. Blah, blah, blah.
53.
Whatever.
He was 53.8%.
He's a Mack truck.
And did you have the other numbers of some of the quarterbacks that suck in the league, how good they were in college?
No, I'm not. Obviously, there's some quarterbacks who are good in college and don't turn out in the NFL. The one player who I can think of who was that inaccurate in college and has went on to be a success in the NFL is obviously Josh Allen. And I think a lot of NFL GMs are trying to recreate a Josh Allen with Anthony Richardson when Anthony Richardson just is not the physical alien that a Josh Allen is. 53.8% in college matters. Maz, did those highlights show you?
56% in college.
Well, 53.8% his as a starter.
53%.
They didn't show the interceptions.
They didn't show the interceptions. They didn't show the 21 incompletions against Kentucky. They didn't show the 4 games in which he completed less than 50% of his passes. If I'm going to draft a quarterback, especially if I'm the Detroit Lions, and Jared Goff is already there, I need somebody who is productive in college. I don't want somebody who couldn't hit the broadside of the barn for many of his games. Did you see that 9 for 27 his last game at Florida State? That is a 33% completion percentage in a game.
Look,
sorry, I'm not having it.
He is a project. He is a project. What you have to do if you are Brad Holmes is to believe that he is a Patrick Mahomes type player?
Oh, dear Lord. Patrick Mahomes is an alien. He's
Okay.
turned into the most talented quarterback I've ever seen.
Can he compete in a game that Patrick Mahomes plays in?
Well, I mean, Malik Willis technically did. But
You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying.
Is he one of those guys that could play in a game where Joe Burrow's on the other side, where Patrick Mahomes is on the other side, where I don't even know about Josh Allen anymore. I think that team is totally regressing.
No. Josh Allen is the real deal.
Okay, fine, Josh Allen. But I'm just saying, if you want to have a top 6 quarterback, if you believe Anthony Richardson could be a player like that, you take him. Doesn't matter where it is.
He hasn't shown me that he can do it with what he's done in college and what I've
What
seen.
was Patrick Mahomes' completion percentage in college?
Well, I don't know that off the top of my head, but he also had
check it out.
a 40 touchdown pass season. He had
All right.
41
Well,
touchdowns,
we
10
can
interceptions.
check it out. We'll check it out. We're going to continue this discussion.
Keep this going.
We're going to continue this discussion and tell you about Bryce Young, what they're saying about him now.
Oh, boy.
Is he going to be the guy that falls down the draft boards? We'll tell you that, but first a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience, and you can register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Sam Flannel in today for Braylon. We've got Tom Mazawey as well. Sam, you got stats on Patrick Mahomes there?
I got stats.
College?
Yes, his junior year,
What was his freshman year?
His freshman year, he had a 56.8%
Oh,
completion percentage,
56.
16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Okay.
But in his sophomore year, 63.5. In the 60s, there's a 6 in front of it with 36 touchdowns, more interceptions than you like, 15 interceptions. And then his junior year, where everybody kind of has fooled you into thinking he wasn't as productive, 41 touchdown passes, 65.7% completion percentage. And I get it. It was in the Cliff Kingsbury offense where they just threw the ball all around the field. Hey, he could coach offense.
Right.
He could coach offense for sure. But
Not from Thailand.
But Patrick Mahomes, trying to even say that Anthony Richardson could be Patrick Mahomes, there's no leg to stand on in any way, shape, or form. And I get it. Anthony Richardson, when he throws the football, when you see his highlights, when you see his athletic ability, he looks very pretty out there. And he's going to show out at the combine or his pro day or whatever. He's going to shoot up the drafts. I'm not denying that someone's going to take him. I just wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole if I am Brad Holmes.
Okay, well, thankfully you're not. And honestly, thankfully I'm not either. Because this is probably the biggest gamble that you will take in the NFL draft is Anthony Richardson. Because nobody is saying this guy is ready on day one. He's not coming in year one, day
Who's
one.
more ready, him or Will
starter.
Levis?
Neither.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's
So
ready.
why are they both going to get taken in the top 10 then?
Because I think NFL GMs look at their measurables and think that they can fix them or maybe become the next Josh Allen.
Right.
Because Will Levis and Anthony Richardson, they have all the talent in the world. They have athletic ability. Anthony Richardson obviously has superhuman athletic ability, but neither of them have really shown what they can do in college. They both leave a lot to be desired, at least for someone like me. But so did Josh Allen. Maybe they're both Josh Allen. I highly doubt it.
So you guys, you included with the rest of the anti-quarterback people that are out there in our sports world, know more than the general manager of the National Football League.
For the record, I am not anti-quarterback. If C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young is there at 6 and there's no Will Anderson or Jalen Carter available, which if Young or Stroud is there, Anderson or Carter would not be. I wouldn't mind taking Stroud or Young because Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, you've seen that they are NFL-level quarterbacks that have NFL arms, have NFL accuracy, and make NFL throws, but they were productive in college. Bryce Young won a Heisman. C.J. Stroud had 2 seasons in which he threw 40 or more touchdown passes and was a Heisman finalist twice, and his last game of his career, he played the best game of his life against that Georgia defense, put up over 40 points. So I'm not anti-quarterback. I'm anti-Will Levis or Anthony Richardson. C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young, I would absolutely consider.
And you know I've been a C.J. Stroud guy.
Sure.
And Bryce Young, to me, is a winner. It's not what Todd McShay thinks of him, though, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I'm just telling you guys, quarterbacks win you Super Bowls. That's why most teams will take quarterbacks. This team that we love hasn't taken a quarterback since Matthew Stafford. Yes, you have Jared Goff off the scrap heap. And yes, he had one of his best years of his career this past season. But that's what you're going to rest on? You just want him for the rest? This is it? You think Jared Goff's going to win a Super Bowl for you? I hope he does. I hope he does for all of us.
Here's the thing, too, guys. Is there a slam dunk quarterback in this class? Who is the guy? If you could have anybody right now, and you said, you know what, this guy is a perennial Pro Bowler. This guy is going to lead a franchise to a Super Bowl. Is there that guy? Is there a Peyton Manning type player in this draft? Is there an Andrew Luck in this draft? And
not that we know of.
Not that we know of. But I'm talking about that quarterback that everybody knew. Who's the kid in Jacksonville? Trevor Lawrence. Everybody knows this guy is going to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft and be your franchise quarterback for the next 10, 12, 15 years. No, that guy's not there because the Chicago Bears are going to probably pick a defensive player at number 1. That guy is not there. So the Anthony Richardson, nobody is saying this kid can come in. What I'm saying is this is Brad Holmes' last best opportunity to scout these quarterbacks. And if you believe that you can develop Bryce Young, Will Levis, C.J. Stroud, or Anthony Richardson into your starter a year from now or even 2 years from now, this is a free, square pick, period. And if you think you could do that, if you think one of these... Now, if you don't like these quarterbacks, if you think these quarterbacks are like Zach Wilson or Mitchell Trubisky or some of the other bums that have went in the first round, fine, pass. But if you do think that guy is there inside of them somewhere, you've got to pull the trigger. You've got to take these kids.
Otherwise, spend $40 million a year on Jared Goff. Go ahead. Because now who are you going to sign?
I mean, I'll tell you what, if Daniel Jones is getting $45 million a year, when Jared Goff is up for contract, he's probably going to ask for even more than
Exactly. I use 40.
He's not going to get $45 million. He's asking for it.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you. That's what you're paying these average quarterbacks.
No, I understand that.
Roll the dice.
But to me, I don't want to roll the dice on a Will Levis or an Anthony Richardson. I would, like I said, C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, I would think about. Because Bryce Young, to me, if he were 6'2 or 6'3, he would be talked about like a Trevor Lawrence
But he's
was.
not.
He's not, and I understand
he's 5'10 and a half.
But to me, he has that kind of talent. He just has some size concerns. I also think, and I'm not by any means a Jared Goff super fan. I think that he is what he is, but he did have the best season of his career. But if you can surround him with a roster, which Brad Holmes has already begun that with Jared Goff as his quarterback, it wouldn't, to me, be outside the realm of the possibility that within the next couple of years, next 2 years, especially in 2024, with all that cap space available, I could see the Lions going to and winning a Super Bowl with Jared Goff as the quarterback. Because at some point, if you have the roster around you, as Jared Goff has proven, he can get you to a Super Bowl, or he could be carried to a Super Bowl by his team. So I think that Will Levis and Anthony Richardson just showing me nothing in college that makes me think that they're going to be franchise quarterbacks, I wouldn't touch them both with a 10-foot pole. And that's just me. I'm not Brad Holmes, but I'll go even a step further. If Brad Holmes does this, we all have a lot of faith in Brad Holmes. I will lose a little bit of faith. Unless, of course, Will Levis or Anthony Richardson prove me wrong. But in the interim, I'll be like, Brad Holmes, what are you doing, man?
I think it would be, again, one of the smartest decisions this general manager can make is to stash a quarterback on the sidelines. I really do. Now, I don't believe, I could be wrong, but I don't believe this team even needs an edge rusher. I really don't. Whether it's Tyree Wilson, now is an edge rusher like defensive backs? You just can't have enough of them? Because if this team loves James Houston, if this team loves
you got your rookies.
Aiden Hutchinson, if this team loves Josh Paschal, hell, maybe even let's not even forget about who's the linebacker they got last, Charles Harris. They like Charles Harris.
Malcolm Rodriguez.
I mean, up front, these guys, you can re-sign John Kaminsky, you can re-sign Isaiah Buggs, and you haven't even been through free agency yet. I think they're okay there. I wouldn't even waste a pick, and I hate to
unless
say
you're
it
getting
like
the
that.
first two guys.
Unless
Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, or Tyree Wilson.
I think
if he's the guy that's moving up.
I think you're reaching at that point. I don't want to reach for anybody unless it's a quarterback.
I'll tell you what. I hope this Tyree Wilson going ahead of Will Anderson gains some steam.
Oh, God, me too.
I would love for that to gain some steam because I think if you're an NFL GM and you draft Tyree Wilson over Will Anderson, that's just the classic case of overthinking. But then...
Look at last year, Sam.
Yes, Trayvon Walker over
he
Aiden
went
Hutchinson.
up and we got our guy.
Yeah, and all Aiden Hutchinson do is have about 3 times more sacks than Trayvon Walker in their respective rookie seasons, although Trayvon Walker did show some promise. But if Will Anderson falls to the Detroit Lions, I think we're having a different conversation where we're all just doing backflips and Brad Holmes is sprinting to the podium. That's what I would love to see happen. And if somebody actually takes Tyree Wilson over Will Anderson, just thank them and move on and get Will Anderson.
Yeah, I mean,
I would have to do that, Rye.
Huh?
I would have to do it if he's there. You got to take him.
If Jalen Carter or
Will Anderson
are there,
you got to
absolutely.
take them.
That's a slam dunk. Now you could use Will Anderson in a multiple different. He could put his fingers in the dirt. He could stand up. He could play linebacker. He could rush the quarterback. He could be in a lot of different positions too.
Yep.
Will Anderson. He's one of the preeminent players in this draft, and obviously, if you have a chance to get him, you take him.
Yep.
I think.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I will say we keep mentioning Bryce Young here. Todd McShay says he's going to measure 5'10" and a half. If you're a GE, this is the update. Alabama quarterback Bryce Young's real height is 5'10" and a half, according to Todd McShay. Quote, if I'm a GM, I'm scared to death of drafting him. That is a quote from Todd McShay. Look, size.
It's because of Kyler Murray-itis.
It is.
That's what it is.
Without question.
It's Kyler Murray-itis.
Without question.
But to be fair, though, Kyler Murray's been okay. Like, I mean, he's obviously
been injured.
He's gone down the tubes.
Yes.
The last year, since he signed that contract, I mean, let's face it, man. He had a bad rep. The word was out on him. He doesn't study. He doesn't do this. He plays Madden instead. He gets the big contract after he got insulted, got his contract, and really didn't do anything after that. I mean, the Lions made a mockery of the Cardinals when they came to town, and then he got hurt.
So let me ask
he
you
is
this.
out for the year, basically.
So let me ask you this. So Bryce Young is listed, 6 foot, 194 pounds. So does that mean he's 5'10", 180?
Yeah.
Probably.
How do you survive an NFL season like that?
Don't get hit.
Yeah, and Bryce Young, to his credit, and I think this will translate for him in the NFL, he is more of a pocket passer than he's not as much of a runner as even a Kyler Murray is. So I think his chances of getting hit are lessened, and especially if he goes to the Detroit Lions somehow, some way with that offensive line. I personally would not be turned off from drafting Bryce Young just because I love his ability so much and his throwing ability, and he would be reunited with his old college teammate Jamison Williams if he were to somehow fall to the Detroit Lions. So to me, it's not.
Let me say this. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Okay.
I don't mean to be misunderstood here.
Yes.
If Bryce Young is available at 6, I'm running to the podium.
I would too.
So am I. Running to the podium to take him.
And C.J.
But
Stroud.
I do think there is a legitimate concern that you are taking a player because he's a winner, number one. He knows how to play quarterback, number two. If you're taking a guy that's 5'10", $180, you do have concerns about that.
Yeah.
You
Right?
can put lifts in his shoes. I don't care. If he's behind that offensive line, he'll be fine. He will. He'll be fine. He's going. Think about this. Anyone that gets drafted by the Lions, if you're a quarterback out there and you get drafted by the Lions, you're automatically in a great situation because they're not supposed to pick at 6. You lucked out. You got a team that's on the rise picking you. Usually, you're getting the Jags or the Texans, and the Jags are good now. You're getting the Texans to take them.
Maz, I think you feel that way too if you are taken by the Seattle Seahawks.
Yes.
Or heaven forbid, did you see who's got number 10th pick overall? Philadelphia.
Yeah, but they're good on quarterback. They're good on quarterback.
For all these teams that are now saying F them picks, okay, give me them picks. I'll take them.
We're ready to win. A quarterback coming here, it's like you won first place. You won first prize.
You got an elite offensive coordinator as well, who the Lions are probably going to lose within a couple of years. But still, everything is in place for a quarterback to come in and succeed right away. I'm not saying get rid of Jared Goff if you're the Detroit Lions.
But keep him 2 years.
Yes, but if a Bryce Young is there and you take him, Bryce Young to me is the type of player with what he did in college that, and coming into this situation with the Detroit Lions, could play right away. And I think that would be the advantage of a Bryce Young. You could just kind of plug and play. Obviously, we don't know for sure, but I think he is most likely of all the quarterbacks in the draft to be able to do that and be the most pro-ready.
This is the new era. This ain't the old Lions where you get drafted, oh my God, I'm going to Detroit.
Totally agree with you.
This is different.
Totally agree with you. Guys, NFL Combine starts. Are you a Combine watcher? And if so, which players are you going to focus on as a Lions fan? Let me know in the chat. WoodwardSports.com. Get in the chat. Also, we could throw out the phone number as well. 313-552-6322. 313-552-6322. Which player are you going to be focusing on at the NFL Combine? What do you think about these quarterbacks this year? Is there a chance you take one of them at 6? Bijan Robinson at 18. All that and more plus. Top of the hour, we'll get into the Jalen Ramsey to the Detroit Lions talk. We'll do all that coming up. But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
All right, Ryan. Look out, though. Look outside today. You ain't getting a tan out there today. And if you went to Florida or you got a nice little tan going, you want to keep it going by getting the Chili Peppers Tanning right now. There's 27 locations in the Metro Detroit area, 2 right here on Woodward Avenue. And the best thing you get about them is they're going to beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning. They got some great deals. Of course, they've got all that great skin protection, and they know what they're doing, folks. You get the cleanest salons in the D, the hottest bulbs, the darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters, chilipepperstanning.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Cintron World is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages and premium bottled water. Cintron is fashionable, functional, and fun. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice. Drink it, live it with Cintron.
Cintron, very good. Welcome back, WoodwardSports.com. Feel free to give us a call. I don't have the screen up, JB, so let me know if anything happens there. I want to say that the NFL Draft Combine is this week, okay? First 2 days will be defensive players and special teams. Last 2 days will be, excuse me, the workouts will feature defensive players first, and then the offensive players will work out at the end of the week. So defensive linemen and linebackers will be first up today with team interviews. So teams are down there right now interviewing players, whoever they want. I mean, obviously there's a schedule. And then the defensive linemen and linebackers will have on-field workouts first. That comes on Thursday. Plenty of interviews throughout the week. So Thursday is the first workouts. The defensive backs Friday will be the workouts. Quarterbacks Saturday, and then on Sunday, offensive linemen and running backs. So we'll get a chance to see some of these guys. Defensive players, guys, I'll tell you, I am intrigued by these names that we hear. Tyree Wilson, Miles Murphy, Luke Van Ness, Brian Brisset, some of these defensive linemen that will work out first, defensive tackles, defensive ends. Those two guys specifically that are getting a lot of buzz, Miles Murphy from Clemson and Tyree Wilson, the defensive end from Texas Tech, who we had just mentioned. Daniel Jeremiah sees him being the first edge rusher taken, not Will Anderson. So that's a guy I love this stuff.
Me too.
I can watch this stuff all day long.
Do you believe what Braylon tells us? And I kind of do. These guys, where's Daniel Jeremiah coming up with this now? Is it because Tyree Wilson's people got to him and say, hey, blow our guy up a little? Because Braylon feels, and he's been through this, that there are guys out there, agents and TV guys like Tom Pelissero and obviously Mel Kiper and the rest of the crew, Todd McShay, Todd. They all get paid. But they all get paid, is what Braylon says. And we've watched movies, Draft Day, remember that? Jerry Maguire, all that crap that goes on behind the scenes. Hey, you're going to move my son up? Hey, you're going to take care of my boy? What are you going to do for my guy? What are you going to do for us today? And maybe we'll sign with your guy. How do they know?
They don't.
They don't know. They don't know any more than us. Except if you're an actual scout, who we have here. We got Scott Bischoff. We got Russell Brown we talk to all the time. These guys, they do. This is what they do with their time. They spend time watching players, breaking down film, going to all the bowl games, the Senior Bowl. They're going to be at the Combine. We're going to talk to many people this week. But what the hell do they really know? Except what you watch on television. You watch a guy, how he dominates or how he disappears in big games. I just don't get all this movement up and down. So I'll just stand here. I'll put my seatbelt on. I'll sit around, and I'm going to wait until the draft hits and then see who the Lions take. But like I told you before, if they take a quarterback in the first two picks of the first round, that quarterback is in good hands. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about mock drafts and all of this talk that I think is so appealing is a lot of us sitting here, we think that we know better than even the talking heads on any of these sports networks.
It's the first year I don't.
It's the first year you don't.
It's the first year I don't.
But you know what? Maybe we do. Maybe our predictions that we make here are more accurate than some that the pundits make. And when you look at the NFL Combine, what I always like about the Combine is that you see which players separate themselves, which players kind of shoot up the draft boards, or what players move down. I mean, you look at this year's cornerback class, like Devon Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez, Joey Porter Jr. Which one of them wows everybody at the Combine? You look at a Brian Brisset or a Tyree Wilson or a Luke Van Ness or somebody like that. Which one of them like really shows out, and you start talking about, hey, maybe he's a top 5 pick? Even the quarterbacks, there's 4 at the top, or even the running backs. What later round running back kind of shoots up into the draft? I really like Chase Brown from Illinois. I want to see how he performs. Then, of course, you look at another position of need for the Detroit Lions, possibly a linebacker. There's Trenton Simpson. There's Drew Sanders. There's Noah Sewell, Penne's brother. Which of these guys kind of own the underwear Olympics, as you would say?
So here's a thought too that I have about this draft and why I'm so keen on getting a quarterback. Granted, Will Anderson or Jalen Carter, or I don't know, maybe you could talk me into
Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson.
There's 2 can't misses for sure.
Who?
Will Anderson and Jalen Carter.
Period.
Yeah.
That's it. Just the 2.
You're not buying into Tyree Wilson yet, right?
Not on those 2 levels.
So let me say this, and this is to your point, Maz. I have seen, and now mock drafts were like a religion to, I think, Lions fans, because it was like our Super Bowl. We say it all the time, but I am not as strong in my belief about what we should do in the draft this year, because I think Brad Holmes has built up enough equity that lets me know that he knows what he's doing.
For sure.
Whatever he does, he's going to be fine with. I just, in terms of building a team, I don't think you can pay Jared Goff $45 million.
You can't.
And sustain winning.
You
I
can't.
don't think that.
You can't.
Now, I could be wrong.
You're not.
I don't think it's the dumbest thing I've ever said. I don't think you can pay Jared Goff $45 million and sustain winning. I don't believe that. That's why I'm so strong on the quarterback. But I'll say this. When you look at this mock draft, man, you talk about value.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen guys like Keely Ringo go 10 to Philadelphia. I've seen him go 40th in the second round.
I've seen him in the 3rd round.
I've seen, pull up that Daniel Jeremiah top 10 again. Look at this guy at number 8 right here. Luke Van Ness, Atlanta Falcons at 8. I have seen him go late first round in the late 20s. So I can't remember a time I've legit Skoronski, the offensive line. I've seen him go top 10. I've seen him go low 20s. I mean, a lot of these times these mock draft gurus, and the usual ones I'm talking about, Kiper, McShay, Jeremiah, these guys, they make millions of dollars to entertain you with these mock drafts, and that is an entertainment factor.
Yes, it is.
These guys, they might not peg the player to the team. They might get 2 or 3 guys out of 32 picks. But the guy they have slotted at 8 ain't going past 12. The guy they have at 10 isn't going past 15. The guy who they have at 5 isn't going 15. You know, like, they're in the vicinity with a lot of these players. I've never seen one like this before, where you've got guys going top 10 to the second round.
Yeah.
That tells me this whole thing is a crapshoot. Take the play, take the sure thing. That's why I'm so strong about Bijan Robinson at 18. Don't give me one of these foo-foo guys at 18.
He might not make it to 18.
He's not going to make it to 18. And Anthony Richardson is not going to make it past 8.
He might not make it to 6 at this point. Especially,
he might not make it to 6.
I mean, Anthony Richardson.
Past 6.
We talk about a guy who I mentioned before. Anthony Richardson is one of those. Even though I may not like him, he is going to show out at the combine or the pro day for sure, because he just has all of the measurables. And you're right, Ryan. There's such a variance. I remember a time where Keely Ringo was supposed to be the number 1 corner, and now I see him in the second round. You look at Luke Van Ness being picked at number 8, but then you also look Will Anderson, Tyree Wilson, and Myles Murphy all go ahead of him. So I guess an edge rusher, which it is such a needed commodity for so many of these teams. I mean, if you want to get the quarterback and get someone to stop the quarterback. So that's this year, you're right, Ryan. It's very, very different. There's such a variance, and it just shows that so many different. It's personal preference. So many different of these pundits value each player differently. But you're right. I've never seen it quite like this before.
Let me ask the people a question here. Big Dan Davis,
super fan,
Davis. And I appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.
I appreciate you, Big Dan. Here's where the disconnect is between me and a lot of Lions fans who say this. You still don't have to pay Goff that $45 million until his contract is up in 2 years, though. If they don't get their quarterback in this draft, there's always next year and the year after that. No, there is not. And if they are picking in the top 5, there is something very wrong with that. We are talking about picking in the late 20s, heaven forbid, 31, 32 in the next couple of seasons. That is what your goal is now. The Lions' goal next season is to compete for a Super Bowl. It ain't to just make the playoffs as the 7th seed. So I don't know who you're getting at 32 next year, or who you're getting at 26 next year, or who you're getting at 20 next year. And after that, you're going to have all these guys coming up. In 24, you're competing for a Super Bowl. You're not competing who's going to be your quarterback. You got to take that guy now. Look at all these teams going for quarterbacks right now. Look at the Jets. They believe they're a Super Bowl ready team right now, missing the quarterback.
They might draft another quarterback.
We
don't know.
They need a quarterback. You look at Las Vegas out here. They throw Derek Carr aside.
Yep.
Who they get? What about Tennessee? Oh, they got Ryan Tannehill. All these teams are looking for quarterback. They don't fall off trees, people.
No.
They don't. I just don't know. Just because you put Derek Carr in Miami, they're going to friggin'...
He's still Derek Carr.
He's still Derek Carr. I got to get to a break. More on this, plus Jalen Ramsey. I want to get you guys to weigh in on that topic as well. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. You see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house, tells the bad guys one thing: stay out. Whether you are at home or on the road, they're customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's proven to work and people who are proven to care. Call this number right here, 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call today.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Hey, Seafood Fest is back at Big Boy. Catch it while you can. That's right. Some favorites during Lent: the shrimp Alfredo, the shrimp stir fry, and the brand new fish sandwich. Go to your local Big Boy today and try them all. And when it's a Friday, you know what that means. It is all you can eat fish fry buffet on Friday nights. That's right. You know what? Ryan's going to take Lukey there on a Friday night. We're going to meet him there on all you can eat.
Go
fish
get that
fry
ice cream
at Big Boy.
No doubt. Get that ice cream. That hot fudge. Ice cream sundae. Ooh,
Lukey.
Hey, hour number 2 of the program. Ryan Ermanni saying Flannel in for Braylon today. Tom Mazawey. You got something there, man?
I just wanted to tell you to say hi to our good friend Ken Brown.
Kenny
out
B.
there. KB going to go on the air in a little bit on the Mitch Albom Show. He says 4 out of the top 6 picks will be quarterbacks. We'll have our choice of Will Anderson or Jalen Carter or even Tyree Wilson if you want to go that far. I kind of believe in. I believe you,
well,
KB.
Look, if you got 6 picks, you got Jalen Carter, Will Anderson Jr., and 4 quarterbacks. There's your 6 right there.
There you go.
So you won't have.
Well, you'll have 1.
No, you won't.
Yeah, we picked 6th.
Yeah, they're going to pick a quarterback.
If Jalen Carter or Will Anderson is available,
they fall to the Lions. One of those guys
I
falls
see
to
what
the
you're
Lions.
saying. If
he said 4 of the top 6, not 4 of the top 5.
I got you.
If 4 of the top 5 picks are quarterbacks, then one of those guys falls to you.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, no, it took me a second, but you are right, Ryan. You are right.
Right, I mean...
well, yeah, if the first 4 picks are quarterbacks, pick 5 could be... well, no. One of those guys falls to the Lions.
Right. Oh, my gosh.
Ryan, think about it. We're at number 6.
Yes.
So there are 5 teams ahead of us.
Yes.
4 of them take quarterbacks.
That would be 4 of the top 5 picks then.
Fine. Then that's what I said then.
Yeah.
That's fine. There's going to be a defensive guy that you love available if those 4 quarterbacks go.
Oh, my gosh.
There you go.
So great.
Sorry to hack up your tweet there.
No, it's fine. I love people in the chat who just think it's so easy.
It's easy. Just go pick one out of the back.
Somebody,
off a tree.
God, I lost it right now, but somebody says, how do you know that Jared Goff wants $45 million?
How do you not?
What do you mean, how do you know? That's what the you take what the going rate is. This is a business, folks, and there is a players' association too that doesn't let you take $20 million less than market value. They don't let you do that. Yeah. They frown upon that. So I don't know. I don't know how hard it is.
You take what's out there.
Yeah.
If Derek Carr is getting $40 million, if Danny Dimes is getting $40 million, so is Jared Goff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Jared Goff would, he's absolutely going to get 40, 45 million, maybe even more when his time for a new contract is up. Because Jared Goff, whether you like him or not, he had a great season last year. And he's coming back next year with Ben Johnson back, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, that offensive line, a running game. Jamison Williams is presumably healthy. So it would shock me if Jared Goff doesn't have another really good year if he's the quarterback, and then another one right after that. The question is, moving forward, whether you're going to want to break the bank for a Jared Goff. I know where you guys stand, but hey, what if in the next couple of years they actually cash one in and win a Super Bowl? I know, Ryan, you're all about that. You're the eternal optimist out of all of us, and I don't think it's that crazy.
Yeah, I mean, our friend Chuck says in the WoodwardSports.com chat, where did the Eagles get Jalen Hurts? They got him at pick number 53 of the second round. Baltimore got
Lamar
Jackson with the final pick of the first round.
They traded up to get him.
The Chicago Bears took traded up to take Mitchell Trubisky instead of Patrick Mahomes
and Deshaun Watson.
Like teams don't know what they're doing either. A lot of teams have no idea what they're doing, and that's why coaches and general managers get fired.
Bears might be taking another quarterback.
Year out.
Seattle, I think, is going to take a quarterback.
I don't think Seattle's going to take a quarterback, but we'll find out.
I'm going to laugh because I don't see how you go into a season again thinking that this is it. You got your guy. You don't have your guy.
I don't know.
You got comeback player of the year, but he's in his 30s.
I don't know, man.
Drew Lock's not your answer.
We'll know because free agency is a month before the NFL draft. So if they pay Geno $30 million a year, $28 million a year.
Yeah, but it's NFL. It's funny money. He's going to get his money up front. But then the rest of the year is avoidable.
I mean, Maz, to your point, both things can be true about Geno Smith. Geno Smith this past year had a Pro Bowl-worthy season, and he deserved it. He was unbelievable. But it was also one of the most random, unexpected, great years by a quarterback in history. He had been a starting quarterback since 2014.
Yep.
And he was considered a draft bust by the Jets. He was a draft bust, and then he was a journeyman, and then he just had that unbelievable year. But is it a blip, or is it something that he's going to do again?
They coached them up, man. They coach up quarterbacks in Seattle.
Yep. And they also have Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf to throw the football to, which is something that I don't think. Yeah, K9 in the backfield. That's something that I don't think people really took as much into account. When you've got two great wide receivers, all pros. K9 probably could have been an offensive rookie of the year.
So here's another situation that is popping up, and I love that the Lions players, many of them, whether it be Jerry Jacobs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, a number of these guys are now in on the Jalen Ramsey get him to Detroit squad. Even on the Good Morning Football today, they were talking about Jalen Ramsey to the Detroit Lions, if this would put the Detroit Lions over the top as one of the top NFC contenders for the Super Bowl in 2023. Would he make sense to do this? Tom Pelissero says the Rams have had trade talks about the six-time Pro Bowl quarterback Jalen Ramsey, and league sources now believe it's very likely that Ramsey is dealt in the coming weeks. He's 28 years old, due $17 million in 23 on a front-loaded deal that averages $20 million, and LA is clearing cap space. I don't know if I could be more clear about this, if it's possible to be more clear about this, go get Jalen Ramsey. Period. This is a dog. He is in the prime of his career. He fits a weakness that you have. Go get it done. If it's 18, if it's 2 seconds, whatever the case may be, get players like this. You need superstars to win in this league. You need superstars. Jalen Ramsey is a superstar. He clears up a lot of problems for you in that secondary.
He also makes problems for you, too.
Fine.
He's a kind of me guy.
Oh, I heard that about freaking Randy Moss, too.
Hold on, man.
And we took Terry Fair.
I know, but this,
because
that was
he
as
was a me.
Bro, that was as a rookie.
Guy.
I'm not talking a rookie. We already know what Jalen Ramsey is. He's on his second team. He's going to be on his third team. I'm not giving up a number 1 for him. I'm not giving up a number 2 for him. I'd rather wait. I'd rather sign the tackling machine that just got let go from the Rams.
33-year-old Bobby Wagner.
I'd rather have him and sign the 2 Eagles. Sign Bradbury and C.J. Gardner.
For $40 million, $45 million.
Take one of them then. Take one of them and then draft your guy.
Maz, I'm not as obviously Jalen Ramsey. For the right price, I would want him too. And I'm not quite as gung-ho as you are, Ryan. But Maz, the reason why I sort of reject the notion that Jalen Ramsey is a me-first guy is because the teams that he has played on have won at the highest level. Remember that 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars
they should have went to the Super Bowl.
That Saxonville team where their defense carried a Blake Bortles quarterback team to the AFC Championship and they blew a 10-point lead. Jalen Ramsey was probably the most valuable defensive player on that team. And then you look at the 2021 Rams Super Bowl team where they won the Super Bowl where Jalen Ramsey was probably the second most valuable defensive player after Aaron Donald.
Correct.
So Jalen Ramsey is a winning player. And the Lions just so happen to have just cut Michael Brockers, which clears a lot of cap space. They can cut Vaitai, which will clear a lot more.
Okwara, Romeo.
And hell, even if they want to cut like a Charles Harris or a Jeff Okudah and clear up some more. I'm not saying they should. I'm saying that they can do it. The question is Jalen Ramsey the type of player that can solidify your defense into making it an instant top 20, top 15 right away? I say it's possible because it's such a need for the Detroit Lions. And Jalen Ramsey is one of those rare players. He has already put together a Hall of Fame career, and he's still in his prime, and he's still playing like a top 3 corner in the NFL. So yeah, if the price is right, I would go after Jalen Ramsey.
I'd be happy if we got him for the right price.
We'll tell you what Peter King thinks that price will be. I'll do that next. But first, a message from Custom Health Centers. Custom Health, baby. All went down to Florida. I was looking good in that bathing suit. Let me tell you. Who you kidding? Down 16 plus pounds. Thanks to our friends at Custom Health Centers. They take the willpower out of weight loss. What is Custom Health Centers? It's a customized approach to what your body needs to lose pounds. Whether it's 20 or 120, they've got the plan for you. Call this number right here, 844-789-THIN. That number again, 844-789-THIN.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
So Peter King, earlier this morning, put out what he believes Jalen Ramsey, what the Rams could get for Jalen Ramsey. He says that his projection is that the Rams could get something between a low first-round pick, like 26 to 31, from Dallas, Buffalo, Kansas City. They could be interested. And a package of picks, perhaps a low 2 this year and a 4th rounder this year or next. That could rise depending upon performance and playtime markers Ramsey could meet. The other factor about this, I expect GM Les Snead to trade the Rams' high second-round pick this year for either 2 or 3 picks between the mid-second and 5th rounds. Ideal world, Snead trades 2 high 2 for a low 2. It gets very complicated, but he believes it could get done for a low first, Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo, 26-31, or maybe a high 2 and a 3 next year. I'll do that all day and twice on Sunday. A high 2 this year and a 3 next year? You kidding me? Come on.
Yeah.
Get it done.
No, that is when we're talking about prices, the one thing that would have made me a little weary is giving up the 18. But a second this season and a third next year for Jalen Ramsey, a guy who has already proven. I mean, in the secondary, they've got a lot of young guys and Tracy Walker, but when it comes to corners, they don't really have a lot of experience. Would you rather draft another rookie to pair with a Jeff Okudah or a Jerry Jacobs, or would you rather get a first-ballot Hall of Famer who is still in his prime, who still has a lot of football left, and can take this defense to where it's a playoff-caliber defense? I mean, last year, even though they played a lot better towards the end of the year, their defense was still bottom 5. I think Jalen Ramsey would instantly make it a top 20, top 15 level defense just with him alone. I think he's that good.
Would you consider, and I read this, and I forgot where I read it over Twitter this past weekend. Would the Rams consider taking Jeff Okudah and maybe a pick, 4th-round pick?
Sure.
Or something like that? And is that something that you, Ryan Ermanni, would give?
Absolutely.
Or do you want to keep Jeff Okudah and try to work with him and have Jalen Ramsey actually come here and maybe help him?
Well, isn't Aubrey Pleasant over there in L.A. right now for the Rams? I think that would be a natural fit. Look, I think you have to do whatever you have to do to get Jalen Ramsey to Detroit. All these Witherspoons and Ringo and this guy and that guy, all fine, great.
How about Johnny
Ringo? Christian Gonzalez, oh my God, he's such a good player. Man, I'll tell you what, the Lions are in go-for-it mode. This is not insert year here, guys. The Lions are in go-for-it mode.
They're in it to win it.
We're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm sorry I'm screaming. I'm very excited about this. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won the Lions division before the Lions won it last.
Yeah.
And the Bucs have not been in the division since 2002.
My goodness.
But the Bucs have a more recent division championship that the Lions played in, the NFC Central Division.
Love the Central.
Than the Lions have. And what I'm trying to tell you is, this doesn't come around a lot. When you are in go-for-it mode, you go for it. We have seen it before with the Tigers, with the Pistons, with the Red Wings. We have never seen this for the Lions in the last at least 2+ decades, where you feel you are so freaking close to winning a division championship and competing. Can you believe an NFC championship game at Ford Field? You kidding? What are you going to say? Oh, I don't want to give up 18 for Jalen Ramsey. No, 18 too high. Don't want to give up 2 2s. Don't want to get up a second of the...
So you'd give up 18. Is that what you're telling me?
I would consider it.
Not me.
I would consider it.
Not 18.
Well, obviously, if you can give them a 2 this year and a 3 next year, fine. But what I'm telling you, don't tell me that Jalen Ramsey is an egomaniac. Don't tell me that Jalen Ramsey is a bad locker room guy. Because he somehow found a way to win in Jacksonville. He somehow found a way to win a Super Bowl in L.A. Why can't he do that here? If there was ever a locker room to join, it would be this one. Everything about this organization is right now. And I think Jalen Ramsey would love to be a part of it. And if you have a chance to go get that player, you go get that player, and you give your fans something to cheer about. Ford Field has been around for 20+ years. There have been 0 playoff games played at Ford Field. Over 2 decades. You want to talk about memories? What memories do you have in that building?
I remember the brick wall before they let you bring in sheets and posters. I remember how boring it looked, and I remember how it's getting better and better.
You remember
and better.
beating the San Diego Chargers and clinching a playoff berth, a wild card playoff berth. What what legitimate memories do you have of Ford Field, going to watch the Lions play? Go get this player, put you over the top, win a division championship, and compete for an NFC championship. Go get that player.
You know, the funny thing is, too, and Ryan, you definitely paint a picture of both it being super bleak in the past, but also what the present could be. Playoff games at Ford Field, that is something that we've never experienced. Getting Jalen Ramsey, especially if all you have to give up is a second this year and a third next year, it's not like the Lions are mortgaging their future. It's not like they're giving up a ton or putting themselves in cap hell. A Jalen Ramsey move is absolutely possible, especially if the Lions cut some of their players who none of us would have a problem with them cutting, and giving up a draft pick this year and next year. There's already a lot of draft capital that Brad Holmes has to work with. I just think sometimes, and Ryan, I know you're going to echo this 1,000%, some Lions fans, and sometimes I even get sort of caught up in it, we're obviously way ahead of schedule when it comes to the rebuild. And I think a lot of Lions fans are just uncomfortable with going for it. They kind of just want to stay in this perpetual cycle of rebuilding, draft picks. And at some point, Lions fans have to wake up and see that the Lions could win a Super Bowl in the next couple of years. They could win a division this year, and if you are a division champion in the NFL, you are a Super Bowl contender. You get a home playoff game automatically. You could get 2 home playoff games depending on how good your record is, and if you win them both, you are in the Super Bowl. And Jalen Ramsey is the type of player that could instantly come in, be the best player on that defense, be the veteran leader that this defense needs because it is still young. A lot of the best players are coming off their rookie years going into their second season. So the thought of bankrupting your franchise or mortgaging your future for Jalen Ramsey, I wouldn't do that, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about making a splash move that can make the Lions much better next year and still not wreck their future at all.
He's only a few years older than... I don't want to interrupt Sheila. He's only a few years older than Hendon Hooker and Stetson Bennett, right? It's only like 3 years older than
28 years old. Hendon Hooker's 25
years
old.
Right, so it's not that bad.
I mean, I just... Look, guys, I mean, you need some superstars on the team. All these really nice players are good. I mean, they're very good. I think you need good players, but you need all-pro players, not just Pro Bowl caliber players. I'm not talking about Pro Bowlers. I'm talking about all-pro type players. Who are the all-pros on this team? If you have an opportunity to get one, and you give up a second-round pick or a third-round pick, man, I just don't understand.
Remember when they got?
Why you wouldn't do it.
Remember when they got Dre Bly? We thought, oh my God, that's a guy they traded for a hell of a guy. Dre Bly's now coaching that secondary. I remember when they doing the announcements at Ford Field. Dre Bly was the last guy we'd bring out. You know, and from North Carolina, number 32, Dre Bly. You want a guy like that. So I'm with you guys. Bring him here, but not for a first-round pick.
Sure, and obviously Dre Bly didn't really result in any team success for the Lions, but he was a damn good player. But the difference with this team is how they've already been built through the draft. I mean, Brad Holmes, I think it's safe to say, is already the best drafting GM in Lions history. I think, Ryan, personally, that Aiden Hutchinson has an opportunity to be that all-pro superstar. Just maybe not in year 2, but maybe. But Jalen Ramsey is already that. And I don't see any reason, except if you were to mortgage anything, like bankrupt your future or bankrupt your team. That's the only way I wouldn't trade for Jalen Ramsey, but that's not what we're talking about. The Lions will be fine even if they get him.
Hey guys, you can listen to us on Apple, iTunes, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're on Apple, go ahead and subscribe to the Ermanni and Edwards with Maz program. Give us a 5-star review as well. That certainly helps us, and we appreciate that. We are coming right back. Talk more Lions, talk more NFL. We'll go around the league, but first a message from Fairway Packing Company. Looking for a way to elevate your dinner? You found the right place. Fairwaypacking.com. They ship anywhere. Their website is phenomenal. Even better, though, if you walk on into their steak shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, it is one of the coolest places you'll ever go. If you love steaks, if you love hamburgers, if you love pork chops, vacuum-packed, individual, in a refrigerator that you just open up. You see what they have, You look at what they have. You look at the price, where it's from. It's the greatest place to me on earth. I love Fairway Packing Company, and you can order them online. Fairwaypacking.com. They ship anywhere. Fairwaypacking.com.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry. Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Be sure to check with Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance review. Many businesses choose a 1/1 effective date. Swiss can help make sure you have the proper coverage. Swiss Insurance, give us a shot and you won't be disappointed. Email them at mark@swissins.com. That is mark@swissins.com.
Hey, before we get to the NFL, there's a couple of news and notes going around the league. I want to ask you guys, you see what Damian Lillard did last night? 71 points. This was the 21st game this season where there's been a player that scores 50 or more points in the game. So Lillard had 71, Mitchell had 71 a couple of weeks ago. There's been 4 60-point games and 2 70-point games. Guys, there is no doubt in my mind what was once thought of as impossible is going to happen in the NBA. I absolutely now believe, seeing some of these numbers, there will be a 100-point game in the NBA at some point. Whether it be Luka Doncic, whether it be Damian Lillard, whether it be Giannis Antetokounmpo, I think somebody is going to score 100 again. These games are, I don't even know if I like it because it's not rare anymore.
I mean, but the thing is, though, Ryan, part of me wants to agree with you, but at the same time, we're talking about 71. 71 is 29 points short of 100. The closest person to do it since Wilt Chamberlain was Kobe, scoring 81. That's 19 short of 100. And not to get too geeky, but the pace of play back in the 60s in that era, I mean, they were just like running up and down the court. It's very, very hard to replicate 100. I need somebody to get a little bit closer than in the early 70s to really believe that it's going to happen. I get what you're saying. Scoring is up. A lot of people are getting 70-point games, 60-point games, 50-point games, but that is an ocean short of 100. I don't think we're going to see it ever again. I think that is among the most unbreakable records in all of sports, and still is.
It was something, man. And no, I was not there when Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 against the Knicks, but he held that little piece of paper up with the 100 on it. That's the iconic picture. And the more you talk about it, Ryan, you almost had me. And then Sam goes and breaks it down, and Kobe's the closest in the 80s. Will we see another 80-point game? For sure. We'll see an 80-point game. But 100? That seems like it's out of possibility. I just hope, whatever record it is, that LeBron doesn't get it. That's all I care about.
Well, guys, with the advent of, obviously, the three-point shot, and I know that this isn't like 1956, but Damian Lillard took 22 threes last night.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, it's like an all-star game out there. These teams don't play defense anymore at all. They just allow you to do whatever you want. We talk about quarterbacks.
Did they win?
Having their way. Yeah, they
Yes,
won.
they did. Yes, they did.
131, 114.
Okay.
But he played 39 minutes. He shot 22 threes and only really made 13 of them. I mean, I say only made 13 of them. What if he made 17 of the 22?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now you're talking 85 points. So he's shooting the shots.
I thought it was a team game, basketball.
Look, I would not be shocked at all. At all. What once would have shocked me would not shock me any longer. 2 70-point games, 4 60-point games, 21 50-plus games. The NBA, I don't think this is good for the game. I don't, but I could be crazy too. I like a little resistance. A little bit of resistance.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean,
just an all-star game out there.
I mean, Damian Lillard, to be fair, he's not Steph Curry in terms of his shooting acumen, but he's up there with how he shot the ball throughout his career.
He had a
how
60-point game a couple of weeks
ago. He did.
ago,
I mean, Damian Lillard is one of those guys. He's never going to go down as an all-time great, but he's going to go down as the greatest player in Portland Trail Blazers history, and he's also one of those guys.
Besides Bill Walton.
But Bill Walton obviously had injury problems.
Still.
I mean, he had no longevity whatsoever. I would still take Damian.
They won a championship.
They did, and that is fair. But Damian Lillard's just one of those guys. He can get hotter than fish grease from three. He can have one of those greatest runs of all time when he's on. So the fact that he got 71 is not the most surprising thing in the world. But yeah, Ryan, you're right. If he hits just a few more, 17 of 22. But at the same time, 17 of 22 from three, that is beyond outer space.
Look, if you're going to score 100 points in a game, you have to be locked in that night. You have to be in the zone, as we say. But, I mean, jacked up 38 shots. What's to keep somebody from jacking up 45 shots?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it would be in a game where there's a blowout and people are just kind of wanting Damian Lillard or whoever to get theirs. I mean, last night, it wasn't necessarily a big win for the Blazers, but they are in a playoff chase, and it is a win that they really needed against a terrible Houston Rockets team. And maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe the Rockets are just terrible, which they are. I think that probably, especially defensively, I think that probably has something to do with it.
We looked at 50-point games as just, it's leading Sports Center.
Yeah.
Right? Now you've got 50-point games almost every night in the NBA.
I would have been excited if this was Steph Curry. I would have watched the videos 100 times already. Because it's Dame Lillard, I haven't watched one video of it yet. I don't care that he got 71 points, and that's a shame because I just watched the video before the show started. On this day in sports, 7 years ago, was he 2016? Yeah, that'll be 7 years. That's when Steph Curry went crazy on that Saturday night primetime game on ABC and beat Oklahoma City just inside the half court, chucks it up, knows it's going in, runs back to his team. They win it by 1 point. I just love the joy, and you guys know I'm a Steph guy. If he did it, I'd be interested in it. I'm really not interested in it if it ain't Steph Curry, to be honest with you.
Well, and that's the problem with being Damian Lillard. Is as
Correct.
Great of a player as he is, staying in Portland, he hasn't won anything. He's not a player you can't. Damian Lillard can't be the best player on a championship level team. And Steph Curry, he's got his Finals MVP. He's got all of his accolades. And what was even better though than that Steph Curry performance at Oklahoma City was the way that season ended for them. He wasn't feeling a whole lot of joy that day. I take a lot of pride in that as a LeBron fan.
Do you think we'll see 100, Maz?
No, I don't.
You don't think so?
I don't. Like Sam said, it's almost an ocean away. 29 points is a lot of points in not very many minutes. Unless they give it the old 4-point play one of these days. The old Steph Curry just inside the half court, make that a 4-point play. Then maybe I'd see 100 then.
Yeah, I just to reiterate my point, will we see it? I'm not sure. Probably not. But again, what once was thought of as an untouchable will never happen in the history of basketball again would not shock me at the way these players shoot the 3-point shot. from where they shoot. It's not just at the line anymore. It's from freaking half court.
Yeah.
They just shoot all over the place. And there is no resistance in the NBA.
Well, Hunter
Nobody plays defense. Nobody plays defense. You score 130, 140, 150 points a night. I just don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to see a 100-point game in the NBA. I think this NBA is unwatchable, by the way.
Oh, it is.
I cannot get into this NBA any longer. And it's been a couple of years for that as well. It's unwatchable.
Like I said, if Steph's not in it, I'm just not into it anymore. I'm just not. It's a shame, too.
I mean, I guess there's an
Love
element
basketball
of what you're saying, Ryan, but I also think some of the athletes that are coming out now, like a Kevin Durant or LeBron James, Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, there isn't a player alive that can stop those guys.
Yeah.
Which that's another sort of issue in and of itself, that just no matter what you do on defense, those guys are going to get theirs. Could some of those defensive teams give a little bit more effort? Absolutely. But I think a lot of it also has to do with these athletes that are playing right now, especially how many of them there are. These freaks of nature like Giannis, KD, like almost 7-footers.
Maybe somebody wouldn't be able to stop him, but it sure would be nice to see somebody
I get
try.
what you're saying.
How's Kevin Durant and the Suns doing? I really have not paid attention since the trade deadline.
Yeah,
are they doing good? Are they a super team?
I don't think. Has he
Yeah,
played
we don't
yet?
know. We're not paying attention.
I just don't care.
He hasn't played yet.
Oh, he hasn't played yet. Okay.
Very good.
No wonder
Good
I
job,
didn't care.
guys. Good job. Yeah, they're doing good.
Good for them.
One quarterback on his way out in the NFL. We'll let you know who that is. Also, the University of Michigan. How's your boy Hunter Dixon doing? What's your thoughts on that?
Hell
But
yeah.
first, a message from SMA.
The sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental
New
health.
bubble watch. Oh, sorry. We got a new bubble watch. Go ahead.
You're good. And substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. If you or someone you know is struggling, head to sportsma.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey, Cousins Maine Lobster, the food truck. Hey, they're in the food truck of the year contest over at the Freep. Let me tell you about it. It can make sure you go vote for them right now. Cousins Maine Lobster. You get to freep.com, the best of Detroit. Follow them on Facebook.com/CML Detroit. That's Cousins Maine Lobster Detroit. If you vote for them and if they win, and they should win, for Food Truck of the Year, you will be in the running for a $300 Visa gift card. That's it. If they win, you win. CousinsMaineLobster.com. Check on that little QR code right there on the side of my mug. Click on it so you can find out where Cousins Maine Lobster and see if they're in your neighborhood. Check them out. CousinsMaineLobster.com.
According to Ian Rappaport, the Washington Commanders have released Carson Wentz.
Shocking.
We'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. But I want your take on this. This is from Joe Lunardi. Right now, he's got 3 Big Ten teams in his locks: Purdue, Indiana, Maryland. Teams that should be in. Michigan State is in that category. The Spartans had a win at Iowa in their grasp and then let it slip away. Tom Izzo's group held a set 91-78 lead with a buck and a half to go in regulation, only to come up short by 6 in overtime. You won't often see a team make 54% of its twos and 73% of its threes in a losing cause. That level of accuracy netted out an effective field goal percentage. Who cares about that, Joe? On a wild afternoon in Iowa City, however, it wasn't good enough. Mock brackets see Spartans as a 7 seed.
Really?
So
So what's Michigan, a 16?
So here you go. Hunter Dickinson's thrilling buzzer beater made a statement not only for Michigan's tournament chances, but also for timeout reduction. With 20 seconds remaining in regulation and the Wolverines down by 1 at home against Wisconsin, Juwan Howard called U of M's last 2 timeouts. Then Kobe Buffkin missed a driving layup. McGee sank 2 free throws for the Badgers, and the Wolverines had to freelance without a timeout. The result was a game-tying 3-pointer as time expired. So who needs timeouts? Michigan won by 8 in overtime to hold on to its spot as good as the next 4 out. So Michigan has no movement. Began the day as the next 4 out. Finished the day next 4
Even
out.
though they beat Wisconsin.
They're like second place in the Big Ten.
Yeah. You just beat Michigan State, Rutgers on the road at the rack, and now Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And they don't move
Apparently
up.
it's not good enough.
All right.
Joe Lunardi hates Michigan.
Come on, Joe.
Period.
How in the
Hates Michigan.
hell is Michigan State still a 7 seed after that debacle in Iowa City on this past weekend? I understand if Michigan State might have been a 7 seed if they would have hung on and won that game, but that was a really, really, really bad loss. When I look at Michigan State, they obviously have a win against Kentucky, a win at home against Indiana. Those are big wins, but if they lose, I think their final 2 games are at Nebraska and home against Ohio State. If they lose either of those games, I would look at Michigan State as a potential bubble team that maybe shouldn't get in, obviously depending on how the Big Ten tournament shakes out. I don't understand how you can have Michigan State as a 7 and Michigan as a first 4 out.
Can I tell you something about college basketball this year?
You don't care.
I couldn't care less about college basketball. Like, if I tried to care less, I don't think it's possible to care less about college basketball. And even yesterday, I'm watching the Michigan game, the end of it, at the airport, flying in, and I'm tuck off CTV. I don't even know why. I was like, oh, I've finished the game. I was like, oh, wow, that's nice, great. And I just kept watching. I didn't even watch overtime. I was like, oh, that's nice. Oh, great. Oh, cool. You know, that's so awesome. Great. And then it's not like I stayed to watch the end of the game. Like, I couldn't care less. Michigan beats Michigan State. Great. Pat on the back. I mean, anytime Michigan plays Michigan State, I want to win, but I just can't get into it. I can't get into it. It's boring.
You know why?
It's boring.
They jam it down your throat too much. You can't put on a TV without seeing a college basketball game. It's fatigue to me. And I know that's a me problem. I already heard you guys on the chat. I never said feel sorry for me. I'm just telling you how I feel as a sports fan. A guy that never used to miss a game. Now I don't make an appointment viewing unless I gotta watch it for work. So I know what the hell I'm talking about, at least a little. But I always say this: when it comes to baseball, I'm like, well, not baseball. When it comes to NBA and NHL, I always say, talk to me when it's the playoffs. I always say that. Not football, not baseball, but basketball and hockey. I'm like, talk to me in April. College basketball, talk to me starting now, March 1st.
And barely you don't even barely need to do that, Maz, because you don't even have to really watch it for work, because it's not like we're going to sit here and break down March Madness, because we see the viewers coming in. We got data back there. We know if you ever mention college basketball, our ratings just went in the toilet. Our viewership just went in the toilet right now.
Yeah.
Nobody's listening
to us. If I'm flipping channels on the radio and I come up to my friends that I listen to, and if they're talking, honestly, if they're talking NBA, hockey, or college basketball, I put on back to the 70s. I go to the 70s again.
It is an automatic channel changer for me if anybody's talking about college basketball. And I want to apologize to anybody out there who's watching us or listening to us. And you're like, okay, move off the college basketball thing. Yeah. It's just nobody cares about it. Even in March, it's like, how's your bracket doing? Nobody cares about your bracket. Nobody cares about your bracket. Nobody cares about your bracket.
Well, you know what? To all the college basketball people out there who actually are watching and do care, you've got an ally in me, because I was excited as all hell this weekend when Hunter Dickinson hit that game-tying shot to send Michigan to overtime at home against Wisconsin, and then they eventually won in overtime. Hunter Dickinson has been a bit of a polarizing figure amongst Michigan fans, amongst definitely his opponents, and even amongst me, because these past few years he has at times been one of my favorite Michigan basketball players of all time. But some of his antics have kind of worn on me with the ski mask and sort of.
Well, that was terrible.
That was terrible. Like,
that was horrific.
You know, some of the stuff he said on podcasts.
Completely tone deaf.
About Wisconsin and Michigan State and all of that. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that Hunter Dickinson, although he's still having a good season, he hasn't quite taken that leap that I thought that he would after his freshman season and then last year. But what Hunter Dickinson did in this game was totally redeem himself. I am all back on the Hunter Dickinson hype train because he put the team on his back when they needed him most. Hit the game-tying shot when it looked like they were going to lose a disastrous game at home versus Wisconsin, a Wisconsin team that I absolutely despise. Hunter Dickinson hit that shot, and then you look, he's a 40% three-point shooter this year, so he has improved his game in that aspect. In all three of his seasons at Michigan, he leads them in points and rebounds. So Hunter Dickinson is not a bum. He's never been trash. I've just found some of his antics and some of his lack of progression this year a little bit grating, but I'm all back in on the Hunter Dickinson train. And did you see Kobe Buffkin go off for 28? Did you see young freshman point guard Doug McDaniel play his third great game in a row as a freshman? Don't let this Michigan basketball team in the tournament because they can do some damage.
Is he still talking
I don't
about
know.
Michigan?
I was answering a text.
Basketball?
My friend Mike Allway just wrote me a text.
Asleep. He was talking about college basketball.
Mike always asked me about my water heater.
Well, you know what? It's a great day to be a Michigan Wolverine, and I'm sorry that you guys don't appreciate it as much as I do.
If they win the national championship and make it to the Final Four, I'll pay attention then.
But wouldn't it be such a shame if you weren't
there? Does John Beilein still coach there?
John Beilein is not coaching there, and there were times this season where I really missed John Beilein because it looked like Juwan Howard was going to coach his way out of town. But you know what? They've redeemed themselves in my eyes with their last three games, and certainly Hunter Dickinson with his legacy shot, clutch, ice water in those veins. And guess what? In the last two games, they haven't even had Jet Howard, their super freshman. So watch out for this team. They're going to do some damage in the tournament if they're let in.
Look at this guy, still going.
They will. They'll get in the tournament, Sam.
Hey,
so will Michigan State.
Can I, while we're doing this, and when I said I couldn't care less, it kind of
sparked. Who are you picking as your number one bracket?
Who? Stop it. I don't freaking even know what you're talking about. Number one bracket. Who, like Duke?
There you go.
Duke actually sucks this year.
Wisconsin, Ohio State, are they good?
Ohio State's awful.
I think Duke has 10 losses. Does Duke have 10 losses?
Some of my favorite phrases that people say wrong. You ready? Is it nip it in the butt or nip it in the bud?
That's a good question.
It's the bud, right?
It's the bud.
It's got to be the bud.
I could care less or I couldn't care less.
I could not care less. Right, couldn't.
One in the same or one and the same?
One in the same.
One in the same.
One in the same. That is correct. You've got another thing coming versus you've got another think coming.
Thing
with a G.
Of course.
Did I missay those during my little soliloquy?
No.
I didn't think I did.
No, you didn't.
This is good.
Each one worse than the next. Each one worse than the last. Each one worse than the next. Each one worse than the last.
The last, right?
I don't use that one.
I don't use that one either. Each one worse than the last. Yes, that is correct. On accident or by accident?
By accident.
I hit my hand by accident. By
accident, yes. Not on accident. There is no such thing.
Right.
This will be the last one for now. Got to get to a break. Statue of limitations or statute of limitations?
It's shoot.
Huh?
It's shoot.
It's shoot. And apparently that was a Seinfeld episode.
Oh yeah.
That was a Seinfeld.
How about vice versa?
Oh my gosh. Somebody said vice versa to me today. I walked away. Vice versa. It's not vice versa. It's vice versa.
How about spelling your? How they spell it wrong.
That doesn't bother. You know what bothers me?
That bothers me.
It doesn't bother me if you spell it wrong.
It kills
me. It bothers me if you correct the person that spells it wrong.
Well, I don't.
Okay, you understand.
I don't. But I do make note of it.
Shut up.
You shut up.
You start talking about Foley.
Go back to Florida.
You go back to Florida.
Me and Flannel got this. I'm only kidding. I love you. I missed you. Go to the Folding Warehouse in Hamtramck, please. It is a phenomenal place. If you haven't been, it is fun as you can imagine. 2 ways to play it. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation. For 2 hours, you get the lane for yourself and 10 of your closest friends. Maybe you can fit 12 on a lane as well. That would run you $120, less than $10 per person. Any drink you want. They have over 100 beers on the beer menu as well. The $2 mystery beer machine is there as well. How about for food? Bring your own food in or have it delivered. Get your fold on, especially at a day like today, at foldingwarehouse.com.
.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
You're about to be shell-shocked. The catch of the day is in. Big Boy Seafood Fest is officially back. Join us for some of your favorites like our popcorn shrimp and pike perch platters and our classic fish and chips. This year, we've reeled in some fresh catches like our shrimp Alfredo, shrimp stir fry, and our fish sandwich. And especially, don't forget about our all-you-can-eat Friday night fish fry buffet. Every day is a fish fry at Big Boy.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Now is the best time to join Planet Fitness because, surprise, they are having a flash sale going on for the next 2 days. You can join Planet Fitness for $1 down and $10 a month.
Only $10?
Yes, only $10. Now, your fitness is essential, and fitness is a key part of your physical and mental wellness. Join Planet Fitness in Club today, or as always, you can check them out online at planetfitness.com.
So Netflix is announcing Quarterback. Okay, it's a docu-series that followed Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, and Marcus Mariota last season. I cannot believe this was on the rundown today, because what I was going to say was I have been addicted to this Full Swing documentary, a docu-series,
the PGA?
On Netflix about the PGA. And what did I do yesterday when I got home from Florida? I sat on my couch and I watched the Honda Classic. And I watched this golf tournament where there were no golfers that I have ever heard of in my life battling on the back nine. And I watched it because of the stories that you see behind the scenes. I think this Full Swing documentary was the greatest thing that ever happened to golf. Now, I'm, relatively speaking, in terms of my eyes, right? I'm not talking about Tiger Woods or anything like that, but recently, the best thing that ever happened to golf. You're getting to know these players, what it took for them to get there, how they live, taking them behind the curtain to seeing their way of life, their struggles, some rookies on the tour. I think and I said they should do this with regular athletes, NBA players, NFL players. Do it with a couple of quarterbacks. And then today I saw this on the rundown. I was like, oh my God, it's a no-brainer. And you know what they need to do it for? Baseball players. Baseball players. They need to do this with baseball players.
I mean, I'd like to see one about Mike Trout, that's for sure. Get him some more exposure because...
Or do it with a bunch of rookies who you've never heard of in your life.
Absolutely. And, I mean, in this year, with the football one, Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he led the Kansas City Chiefs to a Super Bowl. When you were telling me the quarterbacks that they were following, Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, Marcus Mariota, it's like... one of these things is clearly stratospheres ahead of the others. That was kind of my first reaction, especially Marcus Mariota. I don't even know if that's that interesting to follow him.
Yeah, but for me to watch the Honda Classic yesterday, let me tell you, never in a million years would I have done that if it wasn't for that Full Swing documentary.
How long is that, by the way?
It's eight episodes.
An hour each?
Yeah, 40 minutes, 44. I think the first episode's like an hour maybe, and then it's like 40, 45-minute episodes.
How about for a non-golf fan?
I'm a non-golf fan. But it was a behind-the-scenes look
Did you watch
at these
them all?
guys. Yeah, it is awesome.
Okay.
It is awesome.
I've heard about it. I just haven't turned it on.
It got me to freaking watch the Honda Classic. And I think that's the best compliment that I could give to that series. For me to sit down and watch that golf tournament on a Sunday when there were other things on, crazy.
My wife loves to watch real sports when I have it on. She'll sit down. Hey, is there a real sports around? We can watch. That's the Brian Gumbel led show on HBO, and it's really it's been one of the better shows over the last 15, 20 years. It takes you behind the scenes and shows you off sports. Doesn't show you, the on the field stuff, but the behind the scenes. That's what we like to do. We like to take a peek behind the scenes. That's what really makes us fall in love with the games that we do love.
Well, I think baseball needs to do it, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow. The pitch clock. Love the pitch clock. It is a
they gotta do some.
It is a completely different game than it used to be.
It's going to be very different.
It is going to be a shock.
You better be careful.
People. If you are not paying attention to this pitch clock thing, it is going to be a shock. Your heart is racing now watching that pitch clock.
Yep.
It is beautiful and the best thing I think that can happen to baseball. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, Maz.
Did you see what happened to the one batter?
Yeah.
The guy he didn't get in the box in time, folks.
Lost
bases
the game.
loaded, 2 outs, 3-2 count. He didn't get into the box it was like a split second.
Game
Umpires,
over.
you're out. Struck out with the bases loaded.
You know what?
End of game.
I hate the pitch clock personally, and I know I'm the youngest one on this on this show besides Fletch, but I'm kind of one of those early 30s baseball elitists. I don't mind 3.5-hour games. I don't know. I don't want to see outcomes of games decided by pitch clock or a person doesn't get in the batter's box quickly enough.
Hey, we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Hey, guys, before we leave today, I did want to acknowledge the passing of a Detroit sports television icon.
Legend.
Just a legend, and that's the passing of Don Shane. I met Don Shane in 1999. I was an intern at Fox 2. This was one of the most consummate professionals. You look up pro in the dictionary, and you see Don Shane. He was a competitor. He was strong. He cared about the viewer. He cared so much about what he was putting on to the viewer. And I heard of his passing over the weekend, and it made me sad. I know he was sick for a long time. 70 years old is just too young, and I wanted to acknowledge that. My condolences to the Shane family and everybody over at WXYZ Channel 7. Just a terrible loss. And the one thing that I could say about Don Shane, man, and he never took this job for granted, ever. So many of us in this business, we show up and just here we are today. This is our job. Don Shane took this stuff seriously. He felt lucky to be in front of you. He felt lucky that he got to do what he got to do, and he proved himself to the viewers each and every day. He was a consummate professional and an incredible competitor, and that's what I'll take from Don Shane. Just an incredible person. My condolences to his family, his kids, his wife, and of course everybody over at Channel 7.
I was lucky enough to know him as well. Knew him in '96, and he's a guy that you always tuned in. He was appointment viewing at the sports, whether it's at 6 o'clock or 11 o'clock. It's different now, but he, like Ryan said, he never mailed it in. He was at every big event. When he said he was at an event, he was at an event. He had video for everything. I grew up watching Marv Albert in New York do that job. So I know what a good sportscaster is. Don Shane, one of the best to ever put that mic on. And guess what? Never big timed you once. Always the nicest, most friendly guy. Knew everybody's name and was very warm and caring. Truly, I missed him when he left us, back in, I think it was 12 years ago.
12,
yeah, about 12 years ago. He's been in Arizona. I've missed him. I have him in my phone. I reached out to him quite a few times back in the day to have him on our show when he was able to do that, and he would always come on. Just a great guy. And the guys he brought up, Tom Lydon, Brad Galley, hats off to you guys as well. You got to work with one of the best. God bless Don Shane. God bless your family.
Absolutely. Rest in peace, Don Shane. We'll be back tomorrow.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.